the day, and I hope you had a lovely break. This one is something that will be interesting to a whole lot of us who care about what we put on our face, what we put on our body, and how it affects our body. This is the Natural Forum, leveling up your natural beauty business at a time of digital disruption. Consumer preferences for clean products have grown globally, so have those of the Middle Eastern market. In the UAE, consumers are spending $247 per capita on beauty products, and this is expected to hit $294 by 2021 year end. During the pandemic, consumers invested a lot on clean self-care and educated themselves for better indulgence. Today, we'll talk about these preferences and how digital has affected the growth of natural and organic beauty products. And we have a lovely panel of ladies over here who I will be introducing now. First, we have Miss Haxhoffen. She's the Managing Director at Sisters Beauty Lounge, which is part of the grooming company. It is also the UAE's most popular multifunctional beauty lounge with 7 and more branches in the country. Mete is a visionary, transformational executive and certified business coach with more than 15 years of international experience within the cosmetic and hospitality industry, working for and with global players. Next, we have Ms. Anisha Oberoi, the founder and CEO of Secret Skin. Anisha Oberoi moved to Dubai in 2019 and founded Secret Skin in 2020, a tech enterprise based in the UAE for sustainable beauty, built on a framework that focuses on social and environmental impact. That is one of the brands you should watch out for in the clean beauty market by a lot of the media in the region. Secret Skin's primary mission is to support small businesses around the world in the sustainable beauty space, making it a brand with a purpose. And finally, we have Ms. Amna Abbas. She's a consultant for beauty and fashion at Euromonitor International. Euromonitor International are also our knowledge partner for today. Euromonitor is the world's leading independent provider of strategic market research with in-depth understanding of local business information required in today's international business environment. Amna Abbas is a consultant at Euromonitor International based in the UAE. An expert on beauty and fashion in the Middle East, she focuses on analyzing topics such as beauty and personal care, personalized accessories and eyewear, apparel, footwear, consumer health, and luxury goods within the retail landscape. So as you can see, we have a very diverse set of speakers today in the panel. So I look forward, and all our audience are looking forward to the engaged discussion that we will have. So let's dive right into it. I would like to start with Anisha. What has it been like in the natural beauty sector during the pandemic, and how far has online and digital played a role during this time?
Thank you, Menika. Just wanted to start with thanking you for the second time for inviting me to speak at the panel. And I had a really great experience the last time with Amna, and I'm happy to meet Mete today, and I'm glad to be a part of this. Yes, there is an emphasis on conscious consumerism and cleaner living. Customers have begun to prioritize wellness and detoxification, both in terms of diet and products. And this is fueling the demand for safe ingredients and brand transparency. So consumers, with the intention of being mindful, they're now paying more attention to labels, processing methods, sourcing practices, and other details associated with the creation and representation of personal care products before making a purchase. And on account of this, to answer your question, a number of beauty brands in the international scene have decided to clean up their act and made the decision to stop using potential harmful ingredients in their products, and now they're on a mission to educate and encourage consumers to make the switch. So while there are a greater number of consumers here in the UAE that are prioritizing both personal and environment health, they're saying no to products with toxins in them, but there aren't enough brands in the market that can meet their needs with truly safe skincare.
Sure. And as far as online and digital, I know you have an online and digital platform. Yes. So how far does that play a role?
So it's important to note that COVID has accelerated this, right? earlier, because of the digitization of the whole ecosystem, we were already seeing a huge acceleration, and Amna will obviously give us more insights on that. The per capita spend on beauty is more than $240. Globally, it's about 240 because there's an equal split between men and women. But here in the Middle East, the propensity is a lot more because an average woman, a beauty consumer, has about 8 to 12 products in their entire AM to PM routine. And because COVID has forced us to stay indoors, and because we're not using so much makeup, we're focusing on cleaner living, self-care. So everybody is buying skincare and beauty products online. It's not just the expensive skin serums, it's also the low-hanging fruit like deodorants and shampoos and conditioners, things for bath and body. So definitely, I feel even the younger generation lives online. Everybody is online in the Middle East because globally speaking, this is the one region where digital has penetrated more than the others. So the only way to go now is up.
Brilliant. Also, before I continue, I want to tell all our viewers that we have a Q&A section where you can post your questions. So please feel free and don't feel shy, and please post your questions here. Now I want to move on to Mete, the same one. What has the market been like in the natural beauty sector during the pandemic and the demand in the region overall?
Thank you, Minaka, for inviting me, and I'm excited to be part of it. I will answer the questions as representing of sisters. So from what I see the consumer is telling us when they come to us. So the market in the UAE is always progressive. And our consumers as sisters were already getting more and more curious about natural beauty before the pandemic, for sure. But the interest has risen to new heights. And I feel the uncertainty has made us a lot more aware, and maybe even to the point of being very anxious. So we have a desire as individuals to create a safe environment or create safety for ourselves and the world, because this is what we can control right now. And the whole natural vision and ambition fits with that desire. So what we put on our bodies and what we put inside our bodies has just become so important for so many more people. And for products to be vegan and cruelty-free today is almost no longer a nice to have. I feel it's an expectation from our customers, not just in the world of beauty, right? I was in a coffee shop the other day, a well-known coffee shop, and they were promoting heavily a new vegan cupcake. And I think that gives us an idea that, yes, in the world of beauty, we know, but actually, this is a lifestyle choice. So for sure, we've been very effective. We have learned a lot. We were already tapping in, and now we are accelerating more. In terms of the digital, do you want to cover the digital impact as well? I think for us, for sure, it's changed us. Sisters is a 360 beauty destination. And whilst we definitely had an ambition and an omni-channel vision for the future, the pandemic made us accelerate. So we launched during the pandemic very early on. We suddenly got ready to launch our Sisters Beauty app. At first in the region where you can book multiple services, 3, 4, 5 services at the same time. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the comfort of your own home. We also jumped on the online consultation. We wanted to stay close to our consumer. We wanted to give them advice on how they could look after themselves whilst they were at home. And we collaborated with a third-party online platform to get the products to our customers. This was all driven by the crisis. We could have sat down and said, okay, let's wait for this to be over, or we could say, what is the most important now is to stay close to our people. And that's exactly what we did. And that whole acceleration didn't stop. So most recently, we've also launched Beauty Tribe, which is part of our omni-channel vision. And it's a platform with a huge selection of product choices that can be delivered to your door within 2 hours Dubai. What you see on Beauty Tribe that I think is very relevant to this conversation is the filter where you can pick what's important for you. If paraben-free, vegan, whatever it might be, is important for you, that is what you filter. If price is important, you filter price. But I think this is a clear indication for brand and sisters. We have always been multi-brands. But our duty is to provide choices. And I think this is what we are reacting to now, and in a digital omni-channel way. So I think, in summary, the pandemic has maybe helped us going from a bricks and mortar strategy and an online strategy as two separate things to a one single lens strategy where we truly are 360 in everything we do. Does that answer the question?
Yes, that's actually a perfect case of hybrid, successfully putting on the structure of physical salons, and then you have the app, and now you're going to have the Beauty Tribe as well. So that is a really perfect example.
And I think it also allows us, we always say that this beauty experience doesn't stop when you leave. Now it truly doesn't, right? Now we are truly with you at home. So I think from that point of view, that's how this crisis has helped us achieve so much out of need, right?
Yes. And now when we, if we go to Amna, what is the demand for natural beauty products in the region overall, and why, and yeah, let us know.
So basically, of course, first of all, it's always amazing to be part of Organic and Natural Digital Expo. So thank you so much for that. Lovely to connect again with the crowd over here. So there have been very interesting developments that all of us has experienced and got to know since the start of the pandemic. And I would just like to highlight it as a story based on whatever we have done in our reporting at Euromonitor from various studies, including beauty and personal care, which is going to be updated and published again this month. So it's a very prime moment to have this conversation. During March 2020, when the pandemic actually hit the region, it was a surprise locally as well as globally, because in our generation, millennials and Gen Z never experienced a pandemic. So our hope was it's going to get over in 3 months and that's it, we're going to be on a norm. However, as time passed by, the new norm started to be established. When this new norm started to be established, slowly it became that the pandemic is going to be having immediate effects, changing effects, and even post-pandemic, there will be another set of new norm that needs to be considered throughout the whole process in order to improve or adapt our products and services, including beauty products. During this phase, among consumers, health and wellness became a key movement. And to take care and protect our health became paramount to avoid the infection, but at the other part also to take care of your health in the short, medium, and long run. Hence, there was this shift towards more natural and organic oriented beauty products as well. Even commercially, we saw that companies took note, and we saw like increased presence even from big multinational companies of having advertised and make products with more natural ingredients, less chemical, so increasingly labeling not only paraben or sulfate free, but also cruelty free and vegan. So these concepts became much more in front of the consumer, and the consumer who were on the lookout for things like this to protect themselves for the long run started to take heed and started to buy these products. Again, it's like back to basics, because in this region we already have our natural resources. Camel milk is there, we do a lot of oiling, olive oil, coconut oil. So whatever we have around us is coming back to basic as a focal ingredient for a lot of the natural beauty products that we have over there. And the relatability and the known awareness and the increasing awareness, yet again, consumers are very much open to it, kind of like immediately, if not all into it all of a sudden. It's quite quick. So in this case, we saw increasing presence of natural beauty, and then immediate acceptability of it as well from the consumer's place. As we see the new norm being building upon as we go towards vaccination and immunization happening, we also see the trend of health and wellness to be continuing. And so is this trend within natural beauty going to settle in. So this is like a summarized version to answer your question.
That covers quite a lot, and we can also see the trend going that way. And yeah, you're right. After vaccination, people will be far. I mean, it's already like this in the UAE where everyone is outside anyway. But with vaccination, people will be outside even more, and they would like to get personal beauty services even more. So yeah. So then back to Anisha. What are the trending ingredients for the sector in the region and globally? And which product ingredients do you think will trend in the future?
I think it might be wrong to say that they're trending because they're already there. They've already established their presence over many, many decades. So now there is a shift of going back to basics. You're using future technologies, but you're using, for example, Ayurvedic formulations. You're using ingredients that are found in the kitchen. You're using exfoliating fruit puree or detoxifying clays or marine actives, herbal extracts, vegetable extracts, the oils that are found in different seeds. You're using lavender, you're using amla and shikakai, which has been used in India for hair growth. The seeds that come out of apricots. But what's important to note is what will trend in the future using the ingredients that have been used in the past is advances in clean biotech. I think that's the important part that you have to remember, because the idea is to provide sustainable and superior ingredients that optimize the performance of plant-based formulas. So we're talking about stable collagen, we're talking about plant stem cells, vegan growth factors instead of using animal produce. So cutting-edge oil fermentation. These are the things that we should look out for. It's already happening. In the last session, I'd also talked to Amna about anhydrous formulas that don't use any water. So the plant actives are a lot more performance heavy because they eliminate the need of water. So then you don't even need to put a preservative in it to protect it from mold so that it can have a longer shelf life. The packaging, which is going to be innovative, like aluminum, people are using less and less plastic. If it is plastic, people want to ask questions about whether it's compostable. I think that sustainability needs to be across the value chain of shipping, production, ethical sourcing, packaging. So if a company does one and doesn't do the other, then it really doesn't tie into the whole aspect of sustainability in the value chain. So what is trending, like Amna said, more and more brands that are coming up are, like Mette said, it's not just okay to be just cruelty-free or just vegan. Consumers want to know what are the values that you're imbibing when you're creating the product. What are the ingredients that go into it? Whether the brand is supporting microeconomies of indigenous tribes that wild harvest the ingredients that go into the product. So it's very cyclical because it's not a vegan lifestyle. It's a revolution of mindfulness. You shop consciously. You're mindful about what you put inside your body and on top of your body, like what Mette said earlier. So yes, what is trending is going to be the use of a very enhanced biotechnology, as well as the use of AI, AR, machine learning, apps that will be able to help the consumer make the right kind of purchase decisions on the basis of their skin type. In fact, we're coming out with an app that will allow you to pick exactly the shade that you would like to purchase of the makeup that you want to buy. So one part is technology, and the other part is how do you formulate using the different processes in order to create more performing ingredients in the products.
Allow me to add, I think when I look, and again, I'm basing it on the conversations I'm having, like I'm hearing in the store where the guests are talking to the team or talking to each other. And I think a trend, if I may, could be our hunger to understand more, right? We are, as consumers, we are falling out of love with waste, and we love sustainability and ethically sourced, and we want proof. And I think this is a big thing as well. To say that you are something is one thing, but in today's market, the transparency and to prove what we're saying is a huge trend. You can't just say, I'm natural. What does that even mean? Like, we need to understand and be able to articulate that to our customers and our team, or maybe first to our team and then to our customer. I think that's a huge trend.
Because often enough, when we have brands that reach out to us, because we have a platform that invites brands from all over the world, brands that are award winning, and there's a reason why they won those awards. It's not enough to have a Cosmos certification on the ingredients. It's because over a period of time, they've collected a community that understands that this product performs even if it takes 3 weeks longer, instead of me going to a dermatologist and picking a pharmaceutical product to put on my face. But the long-term impact is something that people are becoming more and more aware of using the harmful ingredients in their products. So it's definitely trending. I think this whole conscious consumerism is trending more than the ingredients and the way that the products are being made.
Yeah, for sure.
Great, that's a very insightful reply, especially the whole AI and innovation aspect of it. I never actually thought of it that way, but it really makes sense in the skincare sector specifically, and the beauty sector, because then, as you said, you could match color tones and a lot of other innovative things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, now moving on to Amna. What are the trending, anything to add firstly, Amna, to the trending ingredients in the sector? Or something that's trending?
So, just okay, fine. So perfect. So just to add in, because we mentioned about digital and AI, so I would just like to add in, of course, everyone knows that e-commerce is booming, growing double-digit actually in the region. So from going during the lockdown to triple-digit growth to even after the lockdown period, going to double-digit growth and expected to remain growing in the coming years as well. So that kind of highlights the direction it's going. But more importantly, as Mete highlighted, the omni-channel experience is something that it's looked upon. So just again, like a story, I would just like to highlight that so our results are from beauty survey and digital consumer survey that we conducted, and we do these surveys amongst consumers as well as industry participants. And what was interesting to note is that digitalization is actually coming in and going to settle in the region, because in this region, to be honest, in countries like Saudi and UAE, in the household, we have like 100% penetration of internet in the region. So already the digital infrastructure has been quite strong. And even for other GCC countries, we see that digital infrastructure was already in quite a lot in place. So the e-commerce boom was expected to happen eventually, but because of the pandemic, it accelerated very rightly slow. So what we would have seen perhaps in 3 years, we got it in 3 months. So along with that push, what we saw is that once the lockdown relaxed, people are social creatures. They do want to go out and about. They want to meet with people, have conversations, but of course, that's kind of still limited. Social distancing still remains. And again, they want convenience. They want to be able to spend time in a new norm, so able to capitalize or reach efficiency. So definitely the omni-channel approach is a win-win situation where it's 100% important to have an e-commerce presence to be able to have growth, to have sustainability in business, to be there in the field, you need to have an e-commerce presence. But at the same time, what Anisha highlighted, that consumers need more of like a mindful experience. So even when a business is doing that, it's doing it holistically. An omni-channel experience, or even if it's an e-commerce based experience, need to ensure they have a connection with the consumers, a relationship with their consumers in terms of various factors, whether it's trust, whether it's able to approach them and answer questions, or put their fears aside, because mental health is also a very interesting topic. So whether you are a multinational brand or a small SME for a beauty brand, it's very important to highlight the truthfulness of the product, to establish that relatability in an omni-channel experience, whether it's offline or through e-commerce. So that's something over there. Now, again, coming back to the ingredients bit that I would like to highlight, we see, and I feel this is something that we know when we see all across it, but doesn't get highlighted till it's said out aloud. So we do see natural ingredients in this region, what's picking up. It's a blend, because in this region we have a quite good representation, especially in UAE, of expats. So we see a very good availability and variety of various products. In terms of ingredients, we see, again, it depends on skin type. So of course, a little bit of personalization or variety is always preferred. So we do see, like for combination oily skin, we have or deep cleansing, we do have charcoal kind of beauty products, beauty based products. So we have a lot of charcoal, and like not even facial products, but also in oral care. So toothbrushes and toothpastes, you have charcoal-based toothbrush bristles, and you have the natural bio toothpaste range also, that's pretty much out there right now. We have also for moisturizing, we have rose, Damascus rose, for example, it's out there. In the region, camel milk, we have camel milk soap. It's, we say in like Egypt or some parts of the world, it's goat milk soap. Over here, it's camel milk soap as well. And then we know the traditional ingredients anyways. We have lavender, we have coconut oil, we have olive oil, we have lavender. So essential oils also, it's kind of seen increasingly in ingredients as well. So yeah.
I'd like to speak to what Amna said, just to add there, that she mentioned about trust in the beginning. You know, it's very highly unregulated. People don't understand the difference between natural and clean or organic. The customer is very confused. Even if you tell the customer that turn the back of the product and read what's on it, there are so many generic names, scientific names, that it confuses the customer. So you really have to dumb it down. We have a beauty concierge feature on Secret Skin, and we've had 100% success rate on it, because customers will call in, because you go in looking at the platform and you see a whole plethora of beautiful products from different parts of the world. They all look good. Our customers are buying at least 3 products in one transaction, because one, they know that they're very sure of, because they can identify with it, and the other that they want to explore. So as in our beauty concierge, and we make it very clear that we're not dermatologists, but we can guide you depending on what your skin concern is, whether it's hyperpigmentation, or whether you want something for more hydration, or whether you want a product for growing your hair. We're able to talk about the product. We're able to show the product on video. So it's always a video call that the customers can book. And 100%, all the calls that we've had, customers end up buying all the 3 or 4 products that you will recommend. Camel's Milk Rescue, we're adding on new brands every month. We just onboarded a new brand which has camel's milk in it. There's a huge focus again on seeds and the oils that are derived out of those seeds. On one hand, there's Ayurvedic formulations that uses the ancient practice in order to take the plant actives and to create formulations out of it. And then you have botanical mists, and you have adaptogens, and you have brands that are focusing on the hybrid quality of plant-based actives in order to create the skincare products. So every ingredient will have a very different after effect. So on our website, apart from the ingredients that we talk about, the product, we're also talking about the ritual. How do you use it? At what part of your routine should we use vitamin C? How do you layer it with a serum? How do you then put on sunscreen? Then you put on your makeup. It's very important to educate the customer. And I think that's where the trust factor comes in, because customers want to go to a place where they know that I know that I'm going to a place where I will be taken care of. When I go to Sisters and I go for whether it's a manicure or a pedicure, I know that I can trust them because it's clean, it's hygiene. And also I have a couple of people that I know that will do a great job no matter what the service is. And the reception is always very welcoming. So I think that more important than anything else is the trust factor for a customer.
Oh, thank you for that nice feedback, and I'm delighted you are a customer at Sisters. But and actually at Sisters, we are not one brand, right? And we're not a product brand, so we have multi brands, 20, 30 brands, and our duty to our customers is exactly what you're both saying, is education and objective advice on what is best for them. And I think when we look at trends and trust, so it's education, it's giving really good advice and being very specific, particularly when you're multi-brand. You can't have a favorite. It is what is right for you. And I think that is very challenging for us to always be on top and know the latest. But this is why it's so important that you work very well with your suppliers and product houses, because it's what makes this industry so amazing. But there's a lot to learn to be able to give really good advice, right?
One part of our onboarding process when we bring a new brand on is also to get in touch with the brand and have training sessions. If they have 9 products, then what makes this product special? Is it an image driver or is it a volume driver? Yeah. And then because the brand needs to speak of the values that the founder is trying to instill, as well as bring forth the truth in the formulation practices, or where they're sourcing ethically from, whether it's ethical or it's not ethical. So we have a very stringent curation process of making sure that all the applications that get submitted to the Dubai municipality, because thankfully all skincare here in this region is considered as pharma. So when you consider something as pharma, they go through a very stringent checklist, whether it's the labels, the medical claims that are being made, what does the product look like? If there is a certification that says organic ingredients, do you have an organic certification? If it's cruelty-free, if you're saying cruelty-free, does it have a Leaping Bunny certification? So these things have always been important to us from the very beginning, and that's the kind of methodology that we use whenever we're partnering with a new brand.
And this is also a question for Anisha and Nete, since it's about sourcing. So which countries do you prefer sourcing from, or is the world open? Sourcing suppliers for your salon and also suppliers for the online website.
Mete, you want to go first?
I didn't catch the whole question. Just sorry to be a pain. Just mention it again.
No problem. Are there any specific countries that you source from for products, for suppliers, for your salon, for Beauty Tribe? Are there any specific countries, or do you source from all over the world?
I think I hear the question. You are asking, is there a specific country that we source from, or are we sourcing from all over the world? Is that the question?
Yes.
Definitely for us, we don't have a specific country in mind. I think at Sisters Beauty Lounge, our strategy is clean beauty as an alternative. We are not 100% natural, we're not 100% organic, but we have a duty to provide choices to our customers. So for us, we love something that's homegrown in this region, but we also love global brands. And I think the number one question from our customers for a long time, actually, they will ask, where's the product from? That's really important. And the next question they tend to ask, is it natural? And this is, so for me, no, I don't have a specific country in mind. I have values in mind, and I have it needs to fit with who we are, which is a multi-brand beauty destination. So we need to be the sweet shop of everything and provide proper choice. But at the forefront of every decision that we make. Of
Well,
clean
in
beauty,
my
be
case,
mindful. Huh?
in my case, the one trend that I've always seen that most of the founders of clean beauty brands are women, and there are many founders that, like me, have risen from a personal adversity or a disease where they wanted to contribute to the world using that experience. Like in my case, Secret Skin is really my story, because 11 years ago when I had breast cancer, I was not able to find ingredients in the products that were not harmful, beauty and personal care products that didn't have sulfates and phthalates in them that would interfere with my fertility or impact my hormones. So most of the beauty founders that I have engaged to, the need arises from a sense of desperation, and then that desperation becomes frustration, and then it becomes inspiration. That's what happened with me. And we have brands from the US, from South Africa, from Australia. We have 2 homegrown local champions. We have brands from India. We have brands from now we're bringing on a Welsh brand, a beautiful Welsh brand on board. So we are very particular about the values, about the founder story, about where else are they selling. For example, if they're selling at a Credo Beauty or a detox market, for me, that is already the gold standard. It's not important to me whether you're selling at a Sephora, because Sephora has ruined the word clean at Sephora. So customers are very smart now about how the brands are marketing themselves. And we don't particularly look for a place, but we know that globally, Australia, for example, they're the forerunners when it comes to sustainable clothing, when it comes to plant-derived food, when it comes to plant-based meat. So always I'm eager to bring on more brands from Australia, but we want to be the discovery platform for a lot of brands from all over the world. It doesn't matter whether you're a big brand or you're an indie brand. What's important to me is that you fit into the Secret Skin philosophy, so that my customer gets a portfolio and a catalog of different products, whether you're a man or a woman. So as when you go to Secret Skin, there is no man for men for women section. It's gender neutral. All the products are available to buy locally. You get it the same day with free shipping. There's localized personal care. So my background is Amazon. That's how I understand the blueprint of what it's like for an e-commerce platform. So we work customer backwards, and we have a very data-centric approach to making decisions. So we don't have a preference, but it doesn't matter whether you're small or big.
If I can put in a holistic dimension to sourcing, resourcing, and fulfillment, especially during the pandemic or the years ahead, one of the most important thing in the region also, and even globally, is, of course, we all heard about food security, but also a product and product security, like beauty and health related security. So it's very important. As you said, there are only 2 who you have on the portfolio, and of course they will keep on increasing because we do see a lot in the region as well. However, there is one more thing. We have had potential for a lot of gaps to be fulfilled right now. The organic and natural certification, we can have one that can get really ahead into the game within the region as well, just like how digital adoption done, because we have it in our region as well. Of course, we have really high standard when it comes to certification of getting the products into the market already. So we already have a very strong skeleton and a very strong portfolio to leverage that further into the region. We have so many players who wants to come in the region. So many new products from Australia, which are natural, which doesn't really break your bank, or are very competitively priced, to be honest. Few years ago, when the concept of a certified organic, actually the product started coming in from other foreign countries, there was this notion that that it's expensive. However, over the years, you can buy it at a very good price in hypermarkets and supermarkets. We have a huge range available from pharmacies to well-known chain hypermarkets. Of course, we already know there is an organic range in Carrefour. We see already in like chain pharmacies, even like whether it's in Saudi or UAE, you can find them. So the availability has risen, and with players already putting more and more of natural beauty into the picture, it's like a stepping stone. And again, consumers are confused, but in order to know something, in order to have knowledge and awareness, the first step I would say is always confusion. If you're not confused and you're going out there, then and you're buying anything. So, I mean, for me, confusion is a very good step. If consumers are already seeing this and starting questions, that's like the first step. So when you observe that in consumers, when we do surveys, we realize when consumers, they do it, they actually be like, hey, yeah, when I go into the store, I am looking at these products. I'm craving convenience during this era of pandemic because I want to walk in, I want to buy the products that I really want. I want to walk out with it after finding them. Or I'm increasingly looking for products which in the long term, as Anisha said, she has a story. Of course, we want to be in a position where we're supplying products where the story would be at some point avoided, and it would be more like I want to live till the age of 90 without having any health issue. So I would always say, although we see trends similar, but it's also like food, health and beauty, it's like a package. So in the end, what we are in the end doing is, I mean, I remember a person telling me it's all about living your oldest as a young person. So indirectly, you always want to be in that place where you are buying products or even services, even if you go for beauty consultation or health consultation, at the end of the day or at the end of the forecast human period, what you're exploring actually for yourself is a healthy, fulfilling lifestyle, and the products that you're doing it to look healthy, beauty, and it's all at the end, physical and mental beauty as a whole, that's coming in as a concept now more than ever, because the mental element was on the sideline. But with this at the forefront, your products are actually fulfilling like a 360 element into it. So, and the last thing, of course, which I would like put onto the focus over here is fulfillment centers. Now, again, this is something that's really important because hopefully we would not have a pandemic. Or another person who I was speaking to was like, this pandemic is probably not that bad for millennials and Gen Zs, but this group should be worried about the next pandemic that might happen. So, I mean, it's a notion. There are theories, there are concepts. I'm sure there's a lot of conversation which is going around this time, which we would have not spoken about in like 2018 or 2019, which is a very important element, to be honest, because the new norm means that we are focusing on products and services that will not only fill in during the phase that we are in now, which is vaccination and immunization, which globally there are 7.8 million people, and they say 1 million have, unfortunately passed away. But still, to vaccinate that much and immunization to reach, it's going to take some time. And even after that phase, I mean, the vaccine is here, but we are not throwing off our masks over here. We need to have social distancing in place. We still need to care for our loved ones. So having fulfillment centers already, I know a lot of players into the market, a lot of retailers who've established during this phase of uncertainty have work towards establishing additional fulfillment centers that would help in that omni-channel experience, will ensure there is a fast logistical chain built around whether one buys online, offline, uses click and collect when they shop online, offline, or have cash on delivery option. Whatever they do, they have established fulfillment centers or logistical chain so that that could be met in a much faster way. Probably the whole idea is from reducing it down. Before it used to be weeks, then it went to days, and now the whole idea is to do it within the same day to a couple of hours. So the whole idea to logistically tighten up the system, enhancing the customer experience, and to give the products which are natural or even organic with certification soon, inshallah, with UAE certified organic and natural products. And then we see the whole notion of them being available across all price points, so they're accessible to all, and at the same time to all kind of varieties as well in terms of products. So yeah, it's just going forward, I would say.
Okay, thank you, Amna. We've actually reached our time limit, but I would like to take at least one question before we go because we do have a question which is for anyone. The first one is there a specific demand for natural skincare products from particular countries? So when you ask consumers, do they prefer specific countries? And also, is plant-based a more widely acceptable term in today's age? And that should people focus on it or not? So anyone would like to take these questions?
So in our case, Menka, from what I heard, because you broke a lot during that, it was difficult to hear you. From what I understand the question, do consumers prefer products from a particular country? And whether plant-based is a term that's universally accepted? Was that the question?
Yes.
Well, in our case, we see the most popular brands on the Secret Skin platform are the ones that have Ayurvedic formulations. We have a brand called Mauli from the UK, which is very popular. We have a brand from Ranawat from the US, which is very popular. What's interesting is that 57% of my audience are Emiratis, and I thought when we started Secret Skin 6 months ago that we would have a great recall from the expat community, and it will take a little bit of time for a new entrant to break into the local market. But actually, it's the opposite. So Ayurvedic formulations definitely work better on the platform than botanicals. But then in the end, they're all botanicals, right? Because they're all plant derived. They are plant powered actives. So anything that is plant based, it means that there's no harmful chemical or no animal product that has gone into it. So it's a universal term. So I would say all natural, all organic is plant based. Yes. When it comes to skincare.
I can just add in something over here. When it comes to, again, I think what's really important for SMEs, multinationals, or all beauty players to recognize or notice right now, if you're venturing into the field at this moment, travel is on hold, tourism is on hold. So you're kind of focusing towards residents. What you are looking towards is actually residents that are going to be your main buyers for a certain time till at least the world travel doesn't open. Now, again, I would say this region, especially GCC and countries like UAE and Saudi, we are very well traveled at the same time. So we are well exposed to a lot of different brand names across to the region. So whether it's like for me, who I handle multiple industries. So what I have seen that well-known brands or well-formulated brands perform well across the larger pool of whether they're expats or locals because they're so well exposed to international market already. They take it quite well when a well clean active botanical ingredient brand comes into the market. Of course, there are other factors built in, but whether a company is from, let's say, the Asian region, of course, we have a lot from the South Asian markets as well. We have from Indian subcontinent, we have from the Western market or the Eastern European market as well. When these products come in, the most important thing would be to convey to the consumers what your products are and then raise that awareness around it, because I know a lot of German brands, like for example you have Libera, which is a natural product which is available very much so in pharmacies or even hypermarkets over here. And it's doing quite well actually. So we see that of course there is a lot of potential, there's a lot of scope, and of course as Anisha pointed out, she was surprised to see a lot of their consumers being Emirati. I have seen a similar trend actually across other products as well, but it's just that as well as residents, expats, and of course tourists as well, when that field opens up too, is something that we are looking as a target segment. So I think important thing would be target segment, looking into who your potential target segment would be, communicating clearly even through packaging, clean ingredients. I mean, I see some products who actually have behind their on their ingredients list as saying that it's XYZ, but then in brackets they have it's coconut oil. So simplified labeling is something that's actually appreciated by consumers over here. It's relatability. Oh, I can actually, say that, all right, I know these ingredients. So there are some factors, as long as they are very well put out into the front, we see them doing fairly quite well. So yeah.
I just want to add to both of you very quickly, because I know we're running out of time, but with my consumer hat on, this is exactly it. What I'm looking for with my consumer hat on is simplicity. I need to understand it. I love the values, but it really needs to perform. And sometimes that we forget because we're so focused on the ingredients and everything else. Commercially, I really need to understand the performance as well. So I think that is really important to take into the consideration.
Well, brilliant. It seems that beauty has become more democratic. Consumers have control over markets and dictating trends today, and brands are able to use creativity and intelligence to innovative digital solutions to tap the market. A big thank you to all of our panelists, and this session has been great because we've got 3 different points of view from three lovely ladies, and I'm sure all of our viewers, I've got a lot of comments that this was a very great and knowledgeable session. So a lot of our viewers are very happy and informed as well. To find out how you can get involved, so this is for the viewers, drop an email to info@organicandnatural.com, and our team of consultants will get in touch with you. And ensure you stock yourself for the business owners and buyers. Ensure you stock yourself with the most trending products. If you go to the portal, so perhaps the pop-up of the portal will come on. If you go to the portal, you will see that there is a marketplace where you can put RFQs on the different suppliers that we have. And if you go to the exhibitor section, you can call them in real time, you can message, or you can also chat with them. So we have a lot of interactive tools for both suppliers and exhibitors to connect today, especially in the sectors that we're talking about, which is beauty and F&B, and tomorrow as well.